got the body, and I got the brains in this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons. I'm your host, Wyatt, and who is here with me today?
Hi, it's me, Morgan, as always. I'm just like Erwin's hot mummy mom.
Yeah. Today we're not talking about
We are
Billy
not
and
talking
Mandy.
about beloved cartoon Billy and Mandy.
We are going to be talking about the other show that Maxwell Adams made at the same time as Billy and Mandy, because Grim and Evil and Billy and Mandy, we're going to be talking about Evil Con Carne. I know look, I so didn't think it would be a problem to separate the two shows and just do...
Me fucking neither. Guys, I'm taking the L on this. I did tell Wyatt it'd be good to separate them.
Yeah.
This is my fault.
So we're talking about Evil Con Carne. And do you have any history with this show?
I have the history with this show. Every human on Earth has the history of this show.
Right.
Which is when they separated it from fucking Billy and Mandy. I was like, oh yeah, there sure was another show attached to Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Every time you think about Billy and Mandy, you're like, oh yeah, you remember like Grim and Evil? Does anybody remember that? And then never again. You never think about it ever again.
No. This cartoon was made in a lab to be on those like really douchey top 5 cartoons you don't remember, but everyone remembers it just vaguely. But yeah. I guess my big memory was I talked about before that my mom has some cartoons are stupid, don't watch them around me rule when I was growing up. This was one of them. My mom was cool with Billy and Mandy, which is crazy, but she thought this was too stupid. Yeah. She thought this was too stupid. I remember her vividly going, "Is this stomach talking? This is dumb." Like, I think word for word, she said that to me.
That is okay. We're gonna talk about it, but so I remember maybe like 3 or 4 episodes of Evil Con Carne. Like, if you held a gun to my nuts, I couldn't fucking tell you a single episode of Evil Con Carne until now, where I've watched like a few episodes of it. And here's the thing. Maxwell Adams, he's like a funny guy. Like, like the shows like Billy and Mandy, there's funny stuff in Evil Con Carne. And like there are talented people working on the show. But
you're like putting in like you're like loading a gun as you're saying this. Like, Maxwell has there's some funny stuff in the show. He's a funny guy as you're about to shoot the bullet of butt into someone's forehead.
But this is such a swing and a miss of a show because it's like it just annoys me because I feel like the premise should be better, right? It should.
Yeah, it's basically the premise of like a lot of other cartoons people like, such as the Harley Quinn show or even Venture Bros to a degree.
Yeah, exactly. It reminded me a lot of like the Monarch, including like having a weird romantic relationship with this like second in command.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot about it where I was like, oh man, this should be good, but it's just like a very half-baked idea. This feels exactly like a pilot that we would watch in
and then go, I don't know where it could come from. Like, it's...
And then we're like, all right, this is kind of mildly funny at first, right? The one thing that I will say, I don't think there was ever a single joke at all that was worthwhile involving the stomach.
No,
I don't know why they decided that was like part of the. I guess it's like stupid, so that's kind of funny. But like, I don't know. I guess why it needs to be a separate character.
She's like married to the brain sometimes. Like they go to bed. Listen, that felt like a bit that was like on the cutting room. Like someone should have been like, "Hey guys, we shouldn't have this bit." But it never happened. No one ever went, "Hey guys, we shouldn't have this bit."
So Jesus Christ. Okay. What are we?
No, okay. Let's get
Yeah.
let's get into it. I think the issue with the show, before we start talking about it in detail, is that this feels like, and I don't, no disrespect to Mr. Maxwell, right? No disrespect at all. This feels like he had a cartoon greenlit and saw a chance to sneak one in that he didn't really have anything for. So he slid this in. Because I think the disparity between, like, not just quality, but just, like, vibes of this and Billy and Mandy is kind of insane. Like, this feels nothing. Like, it's not even particularly bad.
No, exactly.
It's just,
like,
I'm just watching an episode, and I'm just like, well, that was a joke that began and ended.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
And
oh, what's the episode this time? Oh, the bear is hungry and the brain wants to do. Yeah. Yeah. Pick it up on that.
And it also somehow feels very like Ren and Stimpy because of Bob Camp being involved, and like, you know, not a huge issue, you know,
no,
like with him, like because he was involved in the pilot, but like, it's just right off the bat, it started. I'm just kind of annoyed at this point by like cartoon premises that don't go much farther than, what if there was a dumb guy and like a smart guy, you know, like that's what we have that they've taken it to its logical extreme of like, what if the dumb guy and the smart guy were the same character? Like because you know, Hector Con Carne and Bosco together are Ren and Stimpy, like fused together.
Even down to like the way like Hector is like also dumb and like the very like Ren and Stimpy, the smart one's also stupid kind of way.
Also Mexican accent, you know. So
can we talk about why he's like a Latino playboy? Where did that like? What are we getting here?
I think maybe.
What are we doing?
Probably doing a like what's his name? The like, what the fuck is? Why is his name leaving me?
What are you talking? What?
I don't know what I'm talking about because I can't remember the name. But
we are circling the drain on this fucking show. No, but like, listen, let me, since we're talking about the voice, yet again we have another Phil Lamar doing an accent that he should not be doing.
Yeah.
He's like, let me just say, the cast for this show is literally fucking insane.
Ricardo Montalban, that's it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But like the cast for this show is fucking insane. Like you see it and you go, man, was no one else hiring? Like what the fuck? We have Phil Lamar, we have Grey DeLisle, we have fucking Frank Welker's the bear.
Yeah. Well, he usually does like animal noises or whatever.
Yeah, we got fucking Quark from goddamn
Deep Space Nine.
Space Nine in here. Like, even I've never watched Deep Space Nine. I was like, oh my god, I didn't even notice as a kid.
Yeah,
it's like Quark. I'm like, look at all this talent we have in this show. That's nothing. It makes sense to me that a lot of these people show up in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy later on. That makes sense now. But like, dude, this show has like a giant cast of characters, and like there's like just a bunch of like, oh, here's a Destro from what's it called, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Here's a Poison.
That's
like
the fucking thing, is that there's like, you think like, oh yeah, there's like a large cast, there's a varied cast of characters, but they all feel, every new character feels like a one-off character. This is like almost the exact same problem as like Time Squad, where it has like a cool premise, but the world is so shallow that it just feels like every single episode feels like this same episode. Even if like and whenever a new character shows up, you're like, oh my god, there's something new happening. But like, for the most part, it is just, you know, the same jokes of like, you know, Hector is arrogant and, you know, comes up with a stupid plan, and Ghastly is like the beleaguered assistant who's
in love with him.
Yeah, who's in love with him, and then, you know,
Skarr is Starscream.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just Starscream. That's it, like straight up. Which like the thing is, though, I think that's kind of funny. I think like the like allusions to like those old cartoons with like the villains and stuff would be funny.
Yeah.
But the show refuses to ever play it straight.
Yes, and I think they
Like,
should have gone farther with it, because the best thing about like Cobra and the Decepticons is it's a big team of people.
of multiple people.
Yeah. So in this,
and like I didn't need them to like
people. It's like okay,
like,
sure.
Like, I didn't need them to all be, like, a giant, like, all have deep characters or something.
Yeah.
But just, like, I don't know, it's just so strange when you're watching the show. And even though they have, quote-unquote, henchmen, it just feels empty in the same three dynamics. Like, they could have easily just had, like, a whole group of weirdos that work for Hector. But he feels like such a loser, like he has no one really working for him.
Yeah.
It's strange. Also, back on the parodies of supervillains. Mm-hmm. The Destro one sucks because his name is just Estro.
Yeah, that's just
like come on, guys.
Yeah,
come on. Like, it feels like they didn't want to make the jokes they were making.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, oh man, they're like, we gotta. We know y'all tapping that after the first half of this episode when Billy and Mandy aired. Come on, let's be so fucking for real.
And like, I don't know, with some of the that's the thing. It's just annoying. It also, I'm not sure how much. Look, I'm not gonna throw like the fake nerd allegations or whatever at Maxwell Adams here, but like I said, it's just like it just would have been so much better if there was like in Mau Mau, they have like the Orangutan Snake has his entire team of like ridiculous like He-Man type guys, and then all of them die except for like a small group of like 4. And even that is still like, okay, that's enough. That's like a good dynamic, and all the lamest, shittiest ones like stick around. Like that makes sense, that's set up. And then also it's like funny because there's more than just one main character, and then 2 other characters that are associated with him. And then it's like, oh my god, how many episodes are we gonna deal with? Okay, I get it. Skarr sucks, and he's getting abused.
He's traitorous. He's gonna get beat up. Yep. This is.
Yeah, we got this. It's great. Thumbs up.
We'll talk about this in Billy and Mandy whenever we do it. But like, even the Skarr jokes in Billy and Mandy are just better than these ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is totally an example of a character just being better as a side character than they ever were as like a main character.
Yeah.
So I actually did make a video about this once, talking about how before Craig of the Creek, the creators of Craig of the Creek, the elders were like their main characters, and like they make like gamer humor videos or whatever with the elders, and it's like that was like mildly kind of funny, but they're just like such annoying characters that you don't want to watch a whole show about these guys.
Yeah, like having them show up and be just giant losers is way funnier.
Yeah, in like as side characters in another show, they are way better as characters because you actually like feel sympathy for them. You're not too annoyed by their antics, like in like Eltingville,
yeah. Like, I also, just because we complained about Skarr, we complained about Hector, Major Ghastly is, and I don't say this lightly, right? I think we throw around this character's made for gooners, or like the person was horny a lot. Yeah. I think we throw it around a lot. We do. This is the most I'm so horny character sometimes. Just like, I wish this loser would notice me. I want him so bad. I'm like, all right.
This hot, fat ass redhead, lady to, like just all these things that are, she's obsessed with a single guy, like is devoted to him.
Like she's made for people going along like this, man, he's lame as fuck. If that was me, I would, like, exactly. She's made for those kind of things. It's like, also, speaking of which, this show's sense of humor when it comes to like sexuality is so strange. I don't know if you saw the episode where he gets a secretary.
No, I don't.
He gets a sexy little like barmaid secretary.
Okay.
And her whole deal is that she wants to fuck the bear, not Hector. There's a point where she says, "Oh, let's go to my room," and she unscrews the brain and leaves it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, guys, what are we doing?
Okay. You know what? You talking about that really does. You know what that does? That makes me appreciate Cow and Chicken so much more.
Oh God,
because
no one's ever fucking said that.
Because Cow and Chicken is a dumb show that is like a ripoff of
Yeah, I just sorry. You can see there's a moment in the show where Ghastly's belly dancing and her stomach is jiggling all about, and so are her boobs. And I said to Wyatt, so Wyatt could know that they were on some other horny shit in the show. But go ahead.
But like to complete my thought is that there is no horniness at all in Cow and Chicken.
There's not. It's like the void, dude. It's weird.
Whereas, like Ren and Stimpy is made. Like, John K. is a fucking freak. You know?
Yeah, he's a sex pervert. He is a quote-unquote sex pervert.
And then all the other people are other varying degrees of freakness. You know, not criminal level, but just, you know, they're like, yeah, we like weird. Hot broads, too. You know, and then they're all, because they were all fucking Ralph Bakshi guys, you know? They, like, all grew up from him, like working on his movies and stuff, or like working on Mighty Mouse with him. And then we get to this, which is like kind of like the last modern day cartoon. I guess the only other cartoon that's like in this mold of like weird horny guy making a thinly veiled
like fetish thing. Yeah, and there's like a little bit of grossness,
is later on with Mighty Magiswords. But we are not going to be talking about that show. We are not
talking about that fucking show.
And you can look up why on your own. But
not here.
Yeah. But that I think to me, like, even if I think Cow and Chicken kind of sucks, there is like it's like a little bit more wholesome because of that reason, you know?
Yeah, it sucks in a way that, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is made, like, some people made what they thought was funny for kids, and it sucks. And this show's like...
Yeah.
I think also, like, I just want to... There's two things I want to bitch about. Not bitch, but, like, talk about.
Sure.
Because I think some bits are funny, but some of the bits that aren't funny are the ones that return every episode. For example, I think if you wrote down their, like, superhero they fight all the time is a fish that just goes meh, 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 it would be funny once.
Yes.
Exactly one time. But then it just kept happening. And I'm like, ooh, this isn't funny. Like, it's a fish and he's a bear. Okay.
Yeah.
That's you're cooking with gas over here, too, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. It's shit like that where it's like, these are all ideas that are mildly funny when you're like coming up with a premise for a show, and you're like pitching it, and then the network is like, yeah, this like works. This kind of works, but not strong enough to work on its own. So, you know, why don't we make it as like a pair show with Billy and Mandy? And here's the thing, it's weird to even like Billy and Mandy and this are kind of different shows because Billy and Mandy
they're very different, yeah. Because
Billy and Mandy, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but like that's a show where it has like a lot of supernatural elements to it and problems, and like, you know, it's just like pure stupidity and id and that kind of stuff, whereas this is very specifically trying to be like a parody of like 80s villain cartoons, you know, or you know, like Skeletor, like Megatron, you know, Cobra Commander.
Exactly, yeah.
And like, so it's just like a different vibe, whereas like you look at, you know, in Dexter's Lab, and the cartoon that it's paired with is like, oh, it's a parody of the Avengers, but that makes perfect sense in Dexter because Dexter tonally is like, it's like a science fiction kind of show where he's like making inventions.
Yeah, it's almost like a Japanese like kids action show by way of comedy in a lot of senses, you know, which like makes sense, but like. Yeah, like you're going, like the tone and like vibe of this and Billy and Mandy don't go together at all.
And I think that this was lifted by Billy and Mandy, like, being popular.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when they separated it to be like, let's see which one, if they can, like, thrive on their own. Fucking Evil Con Carne got obliterated, and then Billy and Mandy went on forever. Like, it went on way longer than... It went on until, like, 2008. Like, it went on way longer than this. So.
I also think that, like, I know, like, Billy and Mandy's way goofier, right? And, like, a lot of, like, supernatural stuff. I think this show was somehow less grounded.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird. Like, because I think the thing that makes Billy and Mandy work so well is that some of its best jokes come from, like, ridiculousness, and then someone's calm. Like, I could just think, top of my head, I can think of, like, the Destroy Us All clown bit, and Billy screaming all this, I'll have the chicken.
Yeah.
And then, and this goes back to screaming. Like, but there's nothing like that in this show, really. I don't know. Like, this show's sense of humor feels like they were forced to make jokes a lot of the time.
Like the episode where, like, the first half of the episode is like, oh no, Billy, you can't go on a picnic. Remember what happened last time? And it's just different characters flashing back to the same exact scene.
Yeah.
Please pass the egg salad, and then the Sasquatch shows up.
Razzle frazzle.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. I think also, side thing, when they separated these shows, the art style change in this show, I don't know if I like it or not. They get rid of all the black outlines, and they do outlines to match the colors like that. And as someone who draws and has tried to done that, I don't know if I like seeing it.
Yeah.
I think it gives a distinction against Billy and Mandy, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like it. Also,
the show changes art
Ghastly's
styles
ass.
a lot.
What do you say?
As I was saying, the show changes art styles weirdly a lot, despite the fact that it's not that long.
No, because I think the show just never figured out what it wants to be. Like, that's the big part of it. Also, Ghastly her ass gets way fatter when it comes to
exactly. That's what I was
talking about.
It gets
crazy.
Where I'm like, she's like, oh, she's redhead, has, goggles, but it's still, like, basically glasses, giant ass, devoted to, her BF and everything. Like, it's just, everything about that is just so...
Dude,
yeah, exactly.
She's who incels make the God. Why she go for those jerks incel posts? Like, that's what the whole deal is.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, but yeah, like you said, there's like, I don't know. How much more is there to fucking say about?
Dude,
Evil
fucking
Con Carne?
nothing. Like, I don't know, man.
So, all right, well. So
guys, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
This shit, man.
So
hey, if you're curious about watching this show,
yeah,
I don't know why, but go ahead, bud.
It's all on YouTube. You can
It's
just
all
go
on YouTube.
Go watch it on YouTube. So I've been watching through season 2 of Legend of Korra.
Whoa! Are we Korra talking on Cartoon Buffoons?
So I watched through season 1 recently as well, because my coworker and we like to watch cartoons on the laptop, or not just cartoons, but just like TV shows, whatever, on my laptop during lunch when we're together at lunch, and he suggested Legend of Korra because he hadn't seen it in a while, and he was in the middle at home of him and his roommate were watching through the original series. He was like, "Yeah, I want to check out Korra, like, and compare them side by side." Watched the first season, ton of problems with that, just not a great season overall. Some good stuff, like Tenzin I really like.
His family.
Yeah, his family's good. Like, Korra is decent in season 1. Like, I like her in that season in general. Amon is like a cool villain, but his motivation is really stupid, and like the fact that they sort of sell out the premise of why he's doing what he's doing in order to make it about how he just hates his dad and wants to take away all bending because his dad was abusive is kind of, that sucks. Like, that's just a really lame twist. But season 2 is the one that everybody thinks is the worst one in the whole show. So I wanted to go into it with an open mind. So we started watching it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try to be invested in this, the political plot line and everything, and try to, like, understand.
Like, really buy in.
Yeah, really try to understand where it's coming from in terms of, like, oh, we're building upon the lore of the spirits, which was sort of a more mysterious secondary element in the original series. But it makes sense because they always say, oh, the Avatar is the bridge between the human world and the spirit world. But they didn't, it was only a few episodes where they did stuff with that in the original series. So, oh my God, we have a whole season called Spirits where we're going to be touching on that a lot more. Within like 4 episodes of the book 2 of Korra, they completely demolish the premise. You learn that this like carefully crafted narrative of why the villain Unalaq, who is Korra's uncle, and Korra's father, who, by the way, we learn at this point is when we learn Korra's not only the Avatar, she's like the daughter of like the chief of the entire water tribe, so she's essentially like a princess or a noble or something
or
like that.
Like
so it's
the first daughter.
Yeah. She's like ridiculously very convenient that is the person that became like somebody who's politically important had the Avatar as their child, but whatever. But they set up this little scenario where it's like, oh, the northern tribe is more spiritually in touch with everything than the southern tribe. So they set up this like weird sort of like ethnic conflict between them where one tribe thinks that they're superior to the other. The southern tribe, famously had their culture sort of like knocked out of whack because of the Fire Nation, screwing over the world for 100 years. So like, and they took the brunt of it. The northern tribe was like mostly unaffected by the attacks from the Fire Nation. So they're on this like high horse because they got to maintain their cities and their culture and everything, whereas the southern tribe was like sort of diminished into these small towns and villages, and then had to rebuild its society like over the past century. And that's an interesting conflict because it's like, it's one where I see it and I'm like, okay, clearly the North is in the wrong for like forcing themselves upon the South.
Yeah.
But it's like a realistic conflict that would arise from real world geopolitical conflict. So I'm like, that's interesting. And it makes sense because these are two sister like nations essentially, but they live on opposite sides of the world. And the reason they live on opposite sides of the world is because on the North and South Pole, there's a portal to the spirit world. So like in at least the same place. So when they were connected to the spirits, you could travel between the North and South Pole immediately. And that's a really cool bit of world building that they will immediately completely... They'll just... The person who wrote the Avatar 1 episodes must not have watched the show. But then I learned that it
reasonable
was
thing to do.
Literally the fucking creator of the show who wrote it, but whatever. So we learn, again, the carefully crafted narrative about the like differences between these two cultures that are like part of a same identity, like cultural identity, but are on two different sides of the world. And the brothers that are in conflict with each other, one who moved to the Southern Water Tribe and one who became like the chief of the Northern Water Tribe, and kind of forging like a rivalry between them where Korra's dad is like, doesn't really care too much about spirituality. He went in willy-nilly and destroyed a forest in order to get rid of bandits, and that caused the spirits to riot. And then it turns out, like, by episode 4, that Unalaq set up the whole thing. Like, 20 years ago, he already was like, yeah, I paid off bandits to attack and then told them to hide in the forest so that he would go and destroy the forest, and it would make him look bad, so he would be banished, and then I would take over. And then, actually, I don't care about nature, spirituality, clearly, from that example of, like, letting the forest be destroyed for his own political gain. I just want to go into the spirit world. I just want the Avatar to open a portal so I can go into spirit world. There's a demon god sealed inside a tree, and I'm talking to him like he's fucking, I'm Skeletor and he's Horde Prime. And we're gonna fuse together and become a giant demon guy and destroy everything. It's really stupid. They, like, really quickly annihilate all the tension of the Civil War plot, but then
so it can be a Dark Avatar.
Yeah, but they still string it along, and they still try to make you think, like, oh man, you know, look at all this stuff with we're building up this war, things are heating up. There's some insane moments of, like, do the writers know this is fucked up? In book 2, where, like, Asami, you know, the lady who has, like, she's like
the little fist.
She's like the Henry Ford's daughter, basically, in this universe.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And yeah, so her whole thing is, you know, she owns a company that her dad created because her dad got put in jail because he's a terrorist. And she is like,
what if we did it? I wish we did it to Henry Ford, by the way. That'd be fucking sick. Go ahead.
And yeah, everybody look up Henry Ford if you don't know anything about him. But so Asami is like, oh man, the company that my father owned, this is my only family legacy. You know, if I were her, I would be like, I don't care if I'm rich. My father was evil. I don't know if I want to attach myself to his company anymore.
Yeah. Also, maybe cars are evil a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah,
like, they're cool,
especially like in this season, which trying to be about, like, industrialization is, like, maybe not good for the earth, but that doesn't matter. There's, like, a scene where she is like, oh, there's a ton of war mechs that we've been creating. I can sell them to the Southern Water Tribe and make a ton of money, and that's not made to be, like, a horribly ghoulish thing. That is like an inspirational, like, yeah, we might be able to win this thing.
You can help, the military industrial complex can help them win their war. Yeah. That's good. That's always been good. Dude, oh my God.
Yeah. And then, like, Bolin becomes, like, a propaganda movie star.
Oh my God, please don't mention Bolin to me, yo.
Yeah, Bolin's the worst character.
Dude, I think it's neat that the Legend of Korra somehow decided to take the two halves of what incel subreddits are like and split them into two different characters for Mako and Bolin. I think that's almost a talent. They covered both bases. Like, you have fucking Max Pill, I'm not fucking a girl who's been vaccinated as Mako, and then no one likes to be Bolin. It's crazy.
Yeah, Bolin is crazy because he's supposed to be like that lovable scamp, the comic relief. But I fucking hate him. I've hated him since day one. Like, he's just so annoying. And it's like, I don't get annoyed at, like, comic relief characters in cartoons, but he's trying so fucking hard to be charming that it's just like, God, I want to kill you. I just want to...
I also hate his design. Because he has that, like, I'm fat from a distance design that I fucking hate in cartoons. Where, like, I'm fat, but I'm not fat actually. I'm super hot and traditionally attractive. I think it's very telling that the Legend of Korra defenders never talk about that nigga. Like him or Mako. No. They never talk about those two because they're the worst, but they're literally one half of the gang.
Yeah, and oh my God, the gang is, like, fucking miserable, and especially this season, it's like, God damn, these people do they like each other at all? Dude. Like, how are they friends? How are they people that are, like, how are saving they siblings? The fucking world? Because
Bolin's constantly looking at his brother like, God, why do they always go for assholes like that? Like, it's the fucking worst.
And then, like, Mako being like, you're so stupid. You don't believe in anything real. And it's like, and you're a cop, dude, but just like, and fucking Cora being like, you know, yeah, like, okay, I think her being like, I want to support the Southern Water Tribe because that's my people, and the North is illegally invading and setting up a blockade and blocking, fair. You know, that's fair. 100% fair. Even if she's the Avatar, like, I think, like we set up in the original series, that Aang sometimes does things completely selfishly in order to, you know, say, like, screw the world balance, yeah. You know, my friends are in danger or whatever. Like, those are noble things. But when Korra's first line of action is like, I gotta go to the president of Republic City and get him to conscript a bunch of people to go to war at my behest and help to bolster the forces of the Southern Water Tribe. The president's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then she goes to Iroh, who is the character voiced by Dante Bosco. You know,
God, like, he's so bad.
Yeah, and Dante Bosco does not need to be in the show to begin with.
You can't cast Dante Bosco as a grown man.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's pretty embarrassing.
And you make a grown man sound like this, like it's dog shit. It's bad. It's bad.
He's even like, he's like putting on a voice too. He's like, oh yeah, it's me.
It sounds like your 14-year-old cousin putting on a Sasuke voice. Like, it sucks.
and then there's like literally a scene where she's like, isn't there anything you can do? Like, because we just need the military's help. We don't necessarily need the government's help. And then he's like,
Insane thing to say. Insane thought process.
And then he's like, if we were doing a routine training mission near the south and we just so happened to run into the northern blockade, we would have no choice but to defend ourselves against them. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
That has to be some of the most unethical shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's just like constantly, like, I'm just like, I was just like blown away by like the way that this whole plot line turned, where it's like they're like digging this hole deeper for all these characters and putting them in this position where they're like abetting war crimes and like war profiteering and like going behind governments' backs and like setting people up into war. Korra's like, I'm gonna use my nepotism powers to get the Fire Lord to join my side and fight off the Northern Water Tribe. And it's like, I can't even imagine the political optics of that in this world where the Fire Nation is like,
just
probably
now,
most of the world
recovering?
is, yeah, exactly. The rest of the world is like, fuck those guys for 100 years, and now they're like, and we're gonna take a side in this war that's unrelated to us. We're gonna join the side and like fight back another part of the world. That would just cause another like world war to break out. So it's like, but you might be asking, dear listener, obviously this is all part of a character arc, and Korra needs to learn that she's acting irrationally, and that this is not the way that an Avatar should be acting. An Avatar is supposed to prevent war from happening, and it's supposed to be a mediator between these things. And I think a civil war situation is literally the most ideal situation for an Avatar to work its magic, right?
Yeah, because like, it's not like the clean good evil like the Fire Nation had for a long time. It's something that the Avatar would actually have to work for to get the balance back in.
Yes, and I think it's okay. There's a shared identity between these people. There's something connecting them. We just have to remind them of that, or have to do these things in order to be like, hey, you're being too aggressive in this way, blah, blah, blah. You know, like there are things, it's a solvable problem, right? A civil war about to break out is like, you know, it's not an inevitability. It's not like a thing that happens because one different nation is like forcing itself upon another one.
Yeah.
You know, so like to me, easy mode should have been like relatively simple for her, but no, it's escalated into that. And then of course, like, actually doesn't matter because the real plot of the show is that the guy is just making a civil war happen as a proxy so that he can turn into a dark god, which is like,
he wants to be King Ghidorah, so she can do her like cool, giant, good spirit guy and be Godzilla and kill it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we need.
So and they set this up in the Avatar 1 like flashback episode where we see the original Avatar, which not the way I would do it personally.
Not what I would have done, but
yeah.
Respect. Here's the thing. So Morgan, I never got that deep into season 2 because I remember I watched season 1 and guys, I know I'm a bad lesbian. It sucked. Shit. It was bad. So then I watched season 2 and I got to the point where she was like trying to get the Northern Lights to come back or fuck whatever. And I was like, wait, I just realized something.
This is boring.
I just did the Patrick voice like this. Ooh, what if let's leave? And I just stopped watching the show entirely. Cause like, I don't know, this sucks. And then I go, but Morgan, lesbians come into there. I'm like, okay, great. As a lesbian, that's super cool. Morgan, don't fucking care.
Yeah.
The show's not very good. And before someone got like that, like, but Morgan, you can't. Do you really think it's that much worse than the original Avatar? Yes, but also, I don't like the original Avatar that much.
Yeah, that's like an important factor. Like, I should establish that I'm a big fan of the original Avatar series, but I'm not going into this in the perspective of like, man, it's so much worse. Than
Perfect. No, it has issues.
Yeah, and also I have it. Yeah, there are issues with the original Avatar. Here's the thing: I made a post complaining about Korra on Twitter. It blew up, and like not just Wyatt Phillips' version of blowing up.
I shared it.
Yes,
I wanted people to see it.
Yeah, it got like thousands of likes, and at the last time I checked, it had like almost 1,000 retweets and everything. So many people responded to it. Mostly people agreeing with it, but there are a lot of people that were like, one of three things. They were like, oh, the original series, it did shit like this too.
Yeah, we hated it. So, okay, next point.
Yeah, or like, actually, blah, 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 Kuvira isn't a leftist, she's a Nazi or whatever. And then, who's the villain in season 4? And then...
The cool Chad Airbender guy that suffocates somebody and everyone goes, this isn't a kid show anymore. Yeah. Like that guy, like, yeah.
And then in the third one is like, oh, actually, secretly, it isn't neoliberal bullshit. It's truly leftist show, which I'm like, shut up.
Why?
No, it's not.
That guy specifically, that person, it took me, Morgan, all my energy to bite my hand and like I'm a vampire not trying to kill somebody. Like, I wanted to be like this. You are so fucking stupid. I bet you go outside and see a fire hydrant and get excited.
Yeah.
You're so dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's just... So, but I made the post being like, it's just, like, my basic point was that it's the shittiness of the villains in the show is that they come up with really good reasons for why the villains are doing what they're doing, and then undercut them with the dumbest twists imaginable that just make them so shallow. And yes, this is true for fucking Zahir as well, the Airbender guy, because like he has a moment where he's like, oh yeah, I want to destroy all borders and I want to, kings are like, great, awesome, love you, anarchist,
amazing,
great. And then as soon as he's like questioned about his ideals and he goes through like the list of like, yeah, this is what I want anyway, the natural order is disorder. And then, so basically like completely abandoning the core idea of anarchy, the idea that like society will be fine without having, rulers and, anybody on top. It will operate, not exactly the same, but it will be, it will be a peaceful continuation of society. He's like, no, I want to fuck things up because I'm the Joker, so it's just like so I have
he's got the makeup on, he's getting interviewed by Robert De Niro, he's just like but like I think the thing that gets me about Legend of Korra is that like I think people who go, it's the worst cartoon of all time, watch more stuff. It's not even in the top 20 worst cartoons.
It's got a lot of
but people who go secretly, it's the best. Nuh-uh, not you either. Yeah. You also need to stop.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is, it's also just like bad for the time it came out.
Yeah.
Like, not to be mean, but like for like the field, like I think everyone's too nice to the cartoon. And I know that's crazy to say.
Yeah,
I think everyone over-hated it when it first came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say this as someone who hated it when it came out, but I wasn't like making posts. I was just like, I'm not just gonna watch it anymore. I just moved on.
Like a normal adult.
yeah. But it's overhated when it first came out, and now you're like, secretly it's a hidden gem. No, it's not a hidden gem. It's so.
Nothing.
It's so middle. It's
Yeah.
such a cartoon that exists and has a beginning, middle, and the end.
Yeah.
Like,
and here's the problem. My problem is like, people will come at me being like, "Man, I hate this discourse because you're just like depriving yourself of, you know, these great things about the world or the characters or the story just because you want to make a political thing." It's like, look, dude, I can overlook how fucking stupid the Amon situation or the Unalaq situation is if like the main core cast of characters
we're good.
But they aren't. So that's the
like,
problem.
Well, what about the guys? Look, I don't know, man. I don't look. Is it cool that Korra likes girls? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, it's cool. But also,
is it funny that that Mako made two women realize that they're in love with each other instead of him?
yeah, that's
very
super
funny.
Yeah, but also, in order to get to that handhold at the end of the show, I have to watch a show where Bolin is all but posting on his secret Tumblr account calling women that don't like him vapid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to deal with that, dude. I don't want to deal with Mako going, you know, the best thing I could do to help change the world? I want to be a cop, bro.
Yeah.
I want to be a police officer. It would help everything. Like,
And
no, I don't want to watch that.
And fucking Bolin, oh my god. This is supposed to be like 19th, turn of the century China, you know, like that kind of world and everything. And I get that the original Avatar had its like jokey or anachronistic moments, but Bolin sounds like fucking Patton Oswalt. Like that's how he talks. That's how he jokes and everything. It's like, shut up. Just stop. And
also, you know, let's hop on my actual issue with the normal Avatar of this too. I'm gonna just leave it this real quick. Why is everyone white?
Yeah,
I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that guy. But like, listen, I don't need the fucking. What else? He's in The Boys too. I don't need the director from The Boys to be voicing a character named fucking Bolin, dude.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone. Look, I love J.K. Simmons. I don't need J.K. Simmons playing a fucking air monk.
Yeah, I would some Aryan lady playing fucking Korra and everything. Like,
yeah, like look, I'll give you a pass on Avatar because that show came out 2005. We didn't know better.
Yeah,
it's 2011. By that point, we should have all took a step back and go, should a bunch of white people be making this fucking show?
Yeah,
and playing all these characters.
They at least tried to get some, like whenever there were a significant amount of Asian voice actors in the Last Airbender, and like not as much as it should have been, but it like you said, it was like 2005. It's a time where like the industry was a lot more insular, you know, and that's not good. That's just.
But it's just the case.
It just was the case at the time. And then 2012, though, I feel like at this point, we're at the point of like stuff like Adventure Time, you know, like that has been going for a few years. It's like in season 3 or whatever of that. Yeah. And that's a show where they're like, we're going to hire people to play characters based on like their voice or whatever, like who they are as a person, and then like have that character. And then Korra is still doing these sort of
old it's just a cast of white people playing people of color type shit. Yeah. Also, and this is now I'm just going to be mean. I'm not going to be real. Also, the Tumblr ass casting of this show. Morgan, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, look, Arby Plaza.
Yeah,
you know,
she's
shout
so
out Arby
bad.
Plaza. I guess.
She's
Why
so
the fuck
bad
are you in this show? Why are you in this show? Like, hey, you know, shout out Arby Plaza. I fucking guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why are you in this show?
I think she's just a bad voice actor. Like, I think she's not a good voice actor at all. Like, she's
why is Chris Hardwick in this show?
Yeah, Chris.
Why is Rami Malek in this show? Dude, unironically, I think the minute we cast Chris Hardwick as Sokka, someone should have been allowed to just start shooting someplace up. I think someone should have been to activate like a sleeper soldier and start going, fucking, where's my gun?
Dr. Horrible fucking sing-along vlog ass, casting that they
exactly.
They had. Yeah.
like, this is the most gift set casting on Earth.
Yeah. This show in general is like peak Tumblr in my opinion because it was airing during like the pre-DashCon era, like that.
This and like this airing was peak Tumblr, but also also fucking Young Justice. What a dog shit era to be on the internet while action cartoons were airing. Dude, literally, if someone said, "Hey, would you rather go back to then and change all your decisions?" No, I don't want to go back to being on Tumblr in 2011, where every week a bad episode of a show comes out, and someone's in my mentions on the brink of calling me the woke version of the N-word because I didn't like it. No, I'm not fucking going back to that time period.
But anyway, so that's Evil Con Carne.
And Legend of Korra.
Anyway, good episode, Morgan. Where can we find you?
Oh my god. I don't fucking know. You can find me at it's your friend Morgan. You can find me at Girl Next Vor on Tumblr, on Co-host, and on the Dark app. The Dark app. Much like the Dark Avatar. I will be the avatar to destroy it, Blue Sky. Oh, and also I'm on Twitter, but in order to find out where I am at, you have to go into the spirit world, and there's a creature where if your face shows any emotion, they'll steal your face, but they can answer the question of what my Twitter account is. And if you get that, you'll get to see me post about things in art.
Yeah.
Wyatt, where are you at?
Well, first of all, trivia, the guy who voiced Ko, the face stealer, also voices Erebos, the main villain in The Dragon Prince, who's the sexy elf guy. I mean, there are many hot elves in that show, but he's the very sexy star elf guy. But anyway.
God, you're gay.
Shut up. But you can find me on Twitter, WazRanger, WAZP Ranger. Mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but sometimes I post about videos I'm making and updates on the podcast, so go check that out. Or I make a post that's complaining about Legend of Korra, and then a bunch of people are like, yeah, or like, no, you're wrong, woke person. I'm like, nah, shut up. I'm not trying.
Publicity's publicity, baby.
Yeah. But if you want to support the show, though, go on over to Patreon, sign up at that $5 level. You get an episode a week early. You also get our other podcast that I do with Cody, which currently we're going through all of the eras of classic Doctor Who, like doing 2 episodes from each of the eras. At the $1 level, you get Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne, aka Bolt Creature, on Twitter, going through every single robot in existence and reviewing them. It's like 5 to 10 minutes. It's great. Go check it out. There's like 90 episodes of it at this point, so go check that out. If you're listening to this on YouTube, then go. The next episode's already up on Patreon, so donate at the $5 level. If you're listening to this on Patreon, you did donate at the $5 level. Thank you so much. Next time, we're going to be taking another detour to be talking about some more pilot cartoons. So we'll be talking about... hold on, let me get the list of this shit.
Let me get the we'll be talking about... I got it. Yeehaw and Doodah, Imp Inc., My Freaky Family, Major Flake, Utica cartoon, and Swaroop.
Yeah, so check those out if you want to watch along. But okay, this was I think we had a full discussion about Evil Con Carne.
And nothing else. We did not talk about any cartoon not on Cartoon Network. We only talked about Evil Con Carne.
Of course, yeah. All right, so everybody, have a good day. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye. Okay.